that there is this thing about, and actors like Vincent Price as well. He's from a completely different era. This is one of his kind of last horror movies, and he's about to be, you know, all those actors of that his generation, like Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. They're just on the cusp of being kind of irrelevant. They're just about to, like, The Exorcist is out within a year of this film, and it's chalk and cheese to The Exorcist, except for how kind of grisly and violent it is. And some of that stuff really anticipates a lot of stuff that came later. And I'd say in that era, this is kind of a particularly nasty, violent film for that time. You know, you probably don't get a lot of this stuff outside of Europe, really. This is kind of a British film that deals with death in quite a nasty way. But they're about to get much, much worse. And they're not going to kind of sugarcoat it with the kind of comedy. They're... it feels like this is the last kind of hurrah for this kind of, for these actors as well. They're all dying. They're all, I mean, at this film, even though the kind of caliber of these critics that are all being knocked off one by one, they're all big, brilliant kind of actors, but they've all had their day. And probably a lot of them, even though I think looking back at it from a 2022 point of view, I think this film really sort of celebrates what all those actors were good at and what they're kind of, and they all kind of play these sort of versions of characters they've played in lots of other films. And it does celebrate them, but I suspect at that time, they were probably all gutted to be in this horror movie. They probably were thinking, oh, this is like, oh, we'd much rather be doing like a proper job. And yet they're all playing second fiddle to Vincent Price in this horror movie. And yet I think it's a really good showcase for all their talents. And it really does what they do well as a sort of, and has them all almost like, this is like the Expendables of like the actors, British actors of the 50s. It's like they're all in it, and you go, brilliant. This is like Ealing and Gainsborough. All these guys are in all these films from like 20 years earlier, all coming back and having a big last hurrah. I like to think they all were having a laugh, and they all know each other though.